Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. I am your humble host, Mr. David Null, also known as Hawkeye Two Feathers. I greet each and every one of you with the love and the honor and the wisdom and the healing of the infinite creator. And I continue to pray that each and every day that you, your friend, family, and all of your relations will learn to accept and receive the healing, the knowledge, and the wisdom from the universe. Now, I feel compelled to do this video for many reasons. And I had been tossing around the idea of redoing a video about loyalty and honor and what that means from a shaman's point of view, from a spiritual point of view, from a human point of view, from a just who are you kind of thing. And I believe it was yesterday that I watched Dante's recent video, and I sat and was like, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. In the words that he spoke, there were so many things that resonated with me. I was like, oh, thank you. Because of all the things that I can promise in this world, in this life at least, about understanding other lives and reincarnations and stuff like that. I got a fair to middling grasp on in my own little personal view of things. I understand that it exists. I understand that I've been here before. I understand I'm here now for a specific reason. And one of them may be to have these conversations with folks. And I thank all of my subscribers and to anyone who's ever stopped by and listened to a video. I thank you very much because this does come from my heart. So when I was watching Dante's last video at Fire and Ice 2, I think it was, I thought to myself, of all the things that go on in this world, are you loyal? What honor do you have? Now, I've spoken on this in many different ways, and I'm going to speak about this from my point of view, but Dante spurred this and kind of pushed this topic forward, and thus this video I'm doing now. But I realized that in my life, I have talked about Mother Mary, my Mother Mary messages. Now, I haven't talked much about White Dove and the Cherokee grandmother whose spirit literally has appeared to me several times, many times. I'll just say several and leave it at that. But to that point, though, it has always been the goddess energy. It has always been Mother. I've always been tuned into Mother Earth. I've always felt this other necessity. Why are we warring? I've never been one to want to, start a fight or even want to finish one. I mean, I'll just say, hey, look, if beating me up makes you feel better, then go ahead. But I'm not one to want to, kill the other guy. And thank goodness I've never had to be put in a situation where I had to kill someone else. Although I know in my heart I could. I would rather not. But it's there. I've already sacrificed myself in many ways in that I would rather give up myself to my own detriment, if you will, to help someone else. Now, that's where honor comes in, or loyalty, if you will, but mostly honor. If I see someone else in need, it's sort of like a coat of arms. And if my family tree is correct, then my last name, had I been, my mom and pop got married, my last name would be Lee, not Null. And in going back through my history, I'm very possibly, like 90%, that I'm related to Robert E. Lee, which means I'm also related to George Washington. And because Robert E. married Washington's granddaughter. But in that, it also goes back to France. It goes back to England. And so in my own lineage, from my own DNA, whatever, I can trace back to the medieval times. There is a coat of arms for the Lees because they came over from France to help out with King Arthur and the Round Table kind of thing. So I know my heritage goes back 90% sure anyway. There are a couple little tiny pieces, but the overwhelming evidence is such. Anyway, my point to that is that I have fought for the right side. If my DNA is true and if some of my previous memories are correct, then I have fought to uphold the goddess for many other generations. Now, my last reincarnation, or maybe two behind, I was a complete and utter asshole and a real buttwad. And I had to come back this time because I messed up so bad, and I had taken a turn to the dark side, if you will. But back then, a lot of people were like that. So I was kind of following what white people did to Native Americans and to blacks, not near as much as Indians. But anyway, that's my own story. But in understanding about the goddess and understanding about Mother Mary and understanding that all of my life, I have been loyal to that. The loyalty, it's like, if somebody else needs something, I'll do my best to give, even if I have to go without, because I know I can make it. I know I've suffered in other ways, and no, I haven't been nailed to a cross, but to the point, though, I have suffered physically. I have done things and had to go without food, and but it doesn't matter, because I know that in my own heart, I can take the punishment more than someone else. I'm already practicing the suffering deal. I can handle it. So that's already, it's like my loyalty to the goddess, to Mother Mary, and also to the grandmother, White Dove, of what was told of me of the Cherokee Nation. And I think it was a great grandmother of mine. That's where I got my Native American heritage, through my great grandmother, my great grandmother, and my grandmother. All three. The first was full blood, second was half blood Cherokee, and the other was half. So don't care about what my lineage as far as drops of blood in the Cherokee Native American realm. That doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is what I feel. I feel loyalty to Mother Earth. Many Native Americans and other folks, they understand the Mother Earth, the Mother Goddess, the Mother Grandmother figure much more than any white people do. And in Dante's conversation the other night, I was like, "Oh my God, it's I have lived in a different part of the world, but what I feel and how I feel, would I ever break my loyalty to my grandmother, uh, White Dove, to Mother Mary? No, because she has saved my tail so many times. She gives me such good information that I share, and because of you all, it comes across in, well, thank you, Dave. That was, you gave Hawkeye, you gave me a gem right there, and it's like, cheers, everybody. Yeah, I got my finger in a splint. It looks odd, I know, but Breaking Dawn, hi, howdy. And I still have the mullion on my finger, by the way. But in this understanding, in the last day or so, it's just been kind of rolling around in my head. How many people are loyal to themselves? How many people actually honor themselves? Overeat, take drugs, too much drinking, blah, 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 blah. Pick a topic, cursing at somebody, or, making judgments. Oh, that person looks really fat in that dress. Oh, shush. Your opinion is one thing, but, to push it on somebody else is quite another. But in doing things like that, you dishonor other people, which brings dishonor upon yourself, which kind of breaks the loyalty thing. Because if you're loyal to your own spirit, if you're loyal to your own God, if you're loyal to the Creator, if you're loyal to the mother of all, the goddess, the earth, the mother, Mother Mary for me, and also White Dove, the native Cherokee Nation. Now, What do I mean by all of this? So many people don't even have faith in themselves. And Dante pointed it out. It's like once you wake up to these things, you can't go back. And would I ever make a 72? Probably not. I'm too old and fragile and things, but in my heart, I'm on second string. I'm on third string. I'll be the water boy for the 72 group because I know in my heart that there ain't no way you can change my mind about how I feel about the goddess, about Mother Mary, about loyalty, about the honor to self and to other people, regardless of who they are. If you don't show honor to other people, then how can you get honor upon yourself, which also means respect. So in many things, people go, well, I think this is okay, and I'm going to follow this for a while, and you break your own loyalty rules. You don't have control of your own spirit. And so in that, hang on, a little, I'm still coughing up crap, my friends. Thank you for your prayers, by the way. But in all of this that goes on, how many people are actually loyal to themselves? Which means they're loyal to the spirit, which means they're loyal to whatever, however you perceive God to be. And so in me, it's just the creator of all things. I don't try to put anybody on a throne or pedestal. And you've heard me talk about, how I think about heaven. It's a gated community and a prison, but I would rather be free in the universe rather than to be stuck in a gilded cage. But to the point, though, many people have lost their faith in themselves. They don't have faith in who they are. They've lost so much willpower because it's like, well, I don't know this thing about the goddess. Oh, well, I don't know this thing about Mother Earth. Well, I don't know this thing about blah, 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 blah. When actually they are not loyal even to themselves anymore. Now, I'm not pointing any fingers at anybody. I'm just saying there are people, that I watch, I look, I pay attention, and I go, wait a minute, that person just kind of skid marked off of the track there. They seem like they're doing really well, and then all of a sudden, boom, they change direction. And all of a sudden now, well, any of us who talk about Mother Mary, oh, well, we're a bunch of pashuis. Well, and I'm not going to get into the discussion, but my view of Mother Mary is she's the goddess, she is also to me, White Dove of the Cherokee Nation, which I haven't been able to find any information on that, but I do think it was my great, great, great grandmother. Anyway, to the point though, how many folks have enough faith in themselves to believe in themselves? Forget about God and this, and well, I don't know what all the angels are, and I don't know about the Christus, and some of them don't know because you can't know the whole plan yet because there's even a bigger plan than that. We have to have faith. How many people have faith? How many people have lost their faith? How many people are looking for faith in the weirdest corners of the universe? And they're like, well, I don't know. Maybe faith is over here. Maybe I should make a sigil. Maybe I should do some spirit conjuring. Maybe I should do some of this. Maybe I should be a Wiccan. Maybe I should be. Most of the time, they don't believe in themselves. They don't have faith in who they already are. And so I know it was to many people, Dante's last video may not seem to have been earth-shattering, but it was to me in that he allowed a side of himself. He allowed himself to be vulnerable and to show a little bit of, not that he hasn't shown vulnerability before, but somehow this last video that he did, it struck me right here. And I just sat and just went, yeah, oh my, yeah. And in my own discussions with folks, I'm always talking about our core value, our core spiritualness. And folks don't have enough faith to believe that maybe they're right. Oh, but somebody said something over here. Boy, I should go over here, listen, and wait a minute. Maybe it's sort of like the book about Siddhartha and Breaking Dawn. Miss Deborah, you and I talked about this. And the story about Siddhartha was written by Herman Hesse, and it's basically about Buddha, the early days of Buddha. But it's not, but it is, but it isn't. Anyway, these two friends grew up together, and as older teenagers, they both set off on a spiritual journey. And Siddhartha and his friend Booga Booga, I can't remember, but anyway, find the book. It's a short book, not very thick, and it's very enlightening if you pay attention. Now, Siddhartha, he and his friend go off following a guru. And the guru is like, well, we do all these things and we fast and we shave our heads. And so they did all that. But after a few months or however long, after a length of time, Siddhartha said, this just ain't getting it for me. And he told his friend, look, I'm sorry, but I got to go over here. And the friend was like, well, but I'm still going to pursue this. Well, fine. There wasn't anything wrong with it, but it didn't just sit right with Siddhartha. So Siddhartha tried different things. He went different ways. And the thing is they were both searching for the same thing. But every time Siddhartha went down a path, he ended up with a dead end. Well, I'm looking for spirituality. I've done all the penance. I've worn the sackcloth. I've fasted for days. I only eat fruit or vegetables but I still don't feel connected to the universe until he reached a river one day after many years. Siddhartha left the searching for any type of spiritualness and became a merchant, became very rich, powerful, had women, had money, had wine, song, and one day that didn't satisfy him and he left that. And on his journey after having everything, having nothing, then everything, he went back to nothing again and met a gentleman on the river who was a ferryman who, pulled a raft back and forth across the river for folks. And Siddhartha sat with the ferryman and he goes, there's something about you. You're at peace with the world. Who did you study under? And the ferryman looked at Siddhartha and said, the river. And Siddhartha was like, what are you talking about? You studied under the river? And the ferryman said, yes. People come and go every day. That's my job. And I help them across back and forth. And he said, but the river is always eternal. The river is always flowing. And life is like the river. And sometimes, it floods and sometimes it gets a little dry. Sometimes, but it's always flowing. And you can always see new things come down the river and you can always allow your troubles to go away. And in that, Siddhartha was like, I have found my guru. So Siddhartha asked the ferryman, can I be your apprentice? And later on in years, the ferryman dies and Siddhartha is just being a normal ferryman. And he meets his friend after all this time. Hold that thought. He meets his friend after all that time. And his friend looks at him and goes, my God, you're enlightened. You're an enlightened being. You're like shining. Who did you study under? And Siddhartha looks at him and says, the river of life, and tries to explain to his friend. And his friend is just in awe. But at the same time, he goes, well, I'm happy for you, Siddhartha, but I still haven't found my path. And so his friend goes off with another guru and another group because he is constantly searching. And what the ferryman taught him was to sit still, trust his own instincts, and connect with the river of life, and that will connect you to the universe. And Siddhartha was like, but it's so simple. And the ferryman was like, there you go. So in this, so many people are searching in different corners, and it's taking them away from originally who they are. They're searching so much that the answer's really right in front of them. They won't have enough faith in themselves, in their own who they are. They won't have enough faith that, maybe goddess isn't some witch lady and blah, blah, blah. I mean, hey, listen, the God of the Bible is one nasty Vengeful SOB, in my opinion. Great Spirit would never do what the God of the Bible has done. Just saying. So, what do we want to believe? What do we want to have faith in? Would you ever say, well, I don't know, this is too tough for me. I don't want to do my own internal homework to become more spiritually advanced in my own self, let alone help somebody else. But, no, I'm going to be emotionally detached to me. I'm going to make excuses because it's always somebody else's fault. Some of that is very true. But when you finally wake up and go, wait a minute, there's something else out there. I may not understand it all, but all of a sudden I've been woken. And you go, crap, I can't go back. I cannot unsee this. Once you first see orbs, once you first see a ghost in real life, once you have an entity appear before you, you go, this stuff is real. You can't deny it. Now, other people may not believe you, but would you rather say, well, then what I saw, they don't believe me, so I'm going to go with them? Now, I've always had my own faith in. I know a ghost saved me from a burning house, and my wife at the time and her daughter. The house burned down to nothing, and we only got out with our clothes. And, I told that story before, but if I were to say, well, no, I just imagined things. No, I didn't. I can't go back and say that spirit, that ghost, that entity did not save us. He did not appear before me and shake my foot and wake me up and say, the house is on fire. No, it was all my imagination. I have to have faith in myself because it happened to me. And so therefore, I can explain it to other people, and you can believe or not disbelieve my story. That's up to you. But the fact is that, do I have enough faith in myself to say that shit was real? Yep, that was real. The visions of people coming in, that has been real. And nothing negative, even the spirit that saved us from the burning house. Had we died, I wouldn't be here being able to describe these things to you now. If something had happened to me in that fire, I wouldn't have been able to save that man's life on the side of the road that one December before Christmas. Me holding a bloody stump and with a tourniquet to try to save this man's life because his truck was fixing to blow up. And we were there when no one else was, and took care of him. And he's saved. He has a false, appendage, and he has almost stopped drinking and is still alive for his daughter. And and I listened to the angels for us to be there that night. And do I have faith? Do I honor the spirits who talk through me? Do I have honor for myself? Am I loyal to my spirit, to my guardian angel, to what I know in my heart is true? How can a mother want to abandon her children? How can a mother goddess, mother earth, mother whatever, wish bad things upon her children? Now there are some, whoa. I got things trying to start. Anyway, hi everybody. I'll get to you in a minute. Let me continue on my rant for a few minutes. But in this, that people have lost faith in themselves. They are being disloyal to themselves. I mean, I hate to say it, but the heck with everybody else. And if you're disloyal to yourself and you don't have enough loyalty or honor, I mean, if the Native Americans, they were like, no, you're not going to change my mind. No, we understand that we cannot and should not even think that we own a piece of Mother Earth. We're here. And, the Christian Bible, someone asked me not too long ago, What do you think about this idea that that humans have dominion over the earth? And I was like, Nick, no, we don't have dominion on this earth. That's what's wrong with us. We have to understand that I cannot be in charge of anyone. I don't have authority over anyone except me. And there are people who think, well, I know more than you, so therefore I should be the authority on this. Now, I'm speaking in these terms and things like this, and I want people to understand you have authority over yourself. If you think that you're better than anybody else for any reason, then I'm sorry, then, everybody's got their own thing. And just because you don't see it, or you have made the judgment call, you are the guilty one because you're going to cast the first stone. You're going to say, well, that person over there isn't worthy. This person over here isn't worthy. I'm much better than they are. I have to sit back every day and say, for everything that I learn, it makes me even more humble. Not that I know more than the next guy. Oh my God, you allowed me to have this information? I need to pass this on. I need to share this with someone. I need to get the fire inside of them going again so they will believe themselves. Do you wish for peace? Yes. Do you wish for harm? Yes. Do you wish to help people? Yes. Do you want to go around killing somebody, maiming them, knifing them? No. Do you want to do it? Yeah. So if your answers to these basic things, which for me is the cause, I'm working for the cause of the goddess, Mother Mary, White Dove of the Cherokee. But White Dove is more than just Cherokee of Indian nations. Anyway, she was my own special gift, if you will, for me to follow Native American traditions and got me out of other religions and into the basic shamans, things that I talk about now. Which, I mean, listen, I still believe in the Christ. I still believe in a lot of the miracles. I still believe in a lot of the stuff. And as Dante has pointed out, we don't even have a little bit of this stuff right. Because history, and I'll be 67 next month. Officially, I'm kind of 67 right now, but anyway, I'm counting in the womb. Ooh. But anyway, in my life's history, I watched Lee Harvey Oswald get shot in the Dallas police thing on that Sunday before church, before we went to church. I watched it on live TV. Okay, so the whole Kennedy thing, the whole thing, the this and the that, there wasn't enough information back then. So if you want to just go back in my lifetime, there have been so many lies told that in another 50 years, the people who read those things, if video and stuff is still around by then, the books will be changed. The history is written by the winners. So the losers don't get to write what they think. And so if you believe Dante or don't believe Dante, I'm kind of sort of here to defend him and say, thank you, my brother. But in that, I don't know enough to be able to say, well, he's right about this. I just know that he's right about stuff. Okay. So, because I don't know enough. I'm still learning. I'm still listening. I still am open and go, whoa, that hit home. That is very intriguing. I don't quite understand it, but there's something about it that just kind of sits here, and if I don't understand any of it, I just let it sit for a while, cogitate on it, as us Southerners would say, you got to cogitate on this subject for a while. But to the point though, whether I understand everything about what Dante says or what he has shown, that's not the point. There is enough of it that I believe it because I feel it and I trust it. I am loyal to my own Mother Mary, my own goddess, my own white dove. And I believe. And no matter what you do to me, even if, God forbid, I don't like suffering, but if I got to get nailed to a cross, then I've already accepted that. Because as soon as I got on the internet and I started having these conversations, Mother Mary is what pushed me into doing these videos. Nobody else. It wasn't the devil. It wasn't something. Mother Mary said, Hawkeye, it's time. Like I said, she told me when I was 11, now it's my time. So in making my comments about with Dante, people aren't loyal to themselves. And if you take an oath, like I promise to do blah blah blah, and then you don't, then you're disloyal. You're distrustful. You're not very respectful. You're damn sure not very honorable because you can't keep your word. But then there are people who go, but you know, it was a bad time. Oh, I don't know, blah, 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 blah. Were you disloyal to yourself? Did you turn in a friend? Did you turn your back on the friend and go, well, I don't really, blah, 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 you know, blind. I'm not looking, you know, I can't answer that for you. But I see other people out there who are doing things and they're saying all this wonderful stuff, but it's almost like, well, I'm going to talk about this, but I don't really believe this. It's for the clicks and it's for to get your attention. And maybe it's to distract you all. They can't distract me on this. They keep trying, but you know, I go off on little sidetracks. Now, I want you to understand that there's no way I know everything. Do I understand the universe? No. I got a really nice clue. That doesn't mean that I'm like up in the 90s of understanding this, but I have a clue. It's like somebody going into a math class and you go, here's 2 apples and 2 apples. How many you got? 1, 2, 4. Now all of a sudden I can go, that's a 2 and that's a 2. So 2 plus 2 is 4. Oh, now I get the grasp of what these numbers mean. Oh, so I have achieved a level of understanding. And no matter what I can do, whatever happens to me other than brain damage, which has happened to me several times, 2 and 2 is always going to make sense. So you can't go back and go, well, no, 2, I don't know what that 2 means. I know if you add 2 and a 2 and another one, well, they might be 6, but you know, you can't go back from it. 2 and 2 is 4. Okay, there it is. But of course, now this last bunch of, you know, common core crap that they had, they were trying to say the 2 and 2 was 5 or 3.5 or some other kind of weird nonsense. Oh my God. You know. So, but do we have enough respect to go, wait a minute, you know what? That person over there is talking some BS. And they're trying to get a bunch of people, blah, blah, blah. My mouth wants to go 100 miles an hour, and I've only had 1 cup of coffee. So, you know, anyway. But to this conversation, though, people are disrespecting themselves because I don't know, I kind of feel like this is true, but somebody over here, they said, oh my God, Mother Mary is like a bad word. You have to take it into context. Mother Mary to me was a goddess and a, you know, the epitome of the, you know, motherhood of the universe. So, but that's because I was raised a Catholic. Now, had I been raised Native American, the grandmother White Dove would have been the one. But because I was raised Catholic, then Mother Mary. But as I came down through the shaman ranks, if you will, still working on that, then White Dove came to me as this white goddess who talked about how, you know, to treat people in the right way with Mother Earth and so many things that it's like, oh my God. But I had to have faith in what I was hearing, understanding, and being shown. And now it's like there's so many things being shown. What of this makes sense? Do you believe it? Can you go back? Can you say, well, you know what? The last 4 or 5 years of studying stuff, and I learned this, blah, blah. You know what? Screw it all. I forget it. Everything I've learned is just trash. I'm not spiritual anymore. I'm not, you know, I give it up. You can't. No matter what you do, even if you say, well, I'm not going to practice that anymore, it's still in my head. I don't want to be a Catholic anymore, but I still do the sign of the cross every once in a while just because it's like, well, maybe that's a magic symbol I should stick with, versus give it, But to the other side of the coin, though, how many people, though, have lost their own faith in themselves? I can't trust my own decision. Well, I don't know. Somebody has authority over me. Oh, no, the hell they don't. No one has authority over you unless you choose so. Now, if you make a loyalty oath and you break it, well, hang you upside down by your feet and you're going to pay for it. And maybe not in this realm, but in another, who knows? But the thing is that have you given up on yourself? Have you given up on your own spirit? Have you given up on the universe? Have you given up on prayer? Have you, what do you still have faith in? Do you have any faith in yourself? Do you have any faith at all? Which means that if you do have faith, then that also means you must be loyal. You must be loyal to yourself in what you believe. You must also respect yourself. And if you talk out of turn and talk, well, I don't know, then you're disrespecting your own spirit. You're disrespecting your own loyalty, which means that you're disrespecting, guess what? The bigger picture. The bigger picture that we all are a part of. And Dante even said that. He goes, you may not understand what we are, but every one of you who is more awake, for every one of you, it helps the Choristas. It helps them. It helps the universe to know that they've got a backups on the we're the silent 72 plus. We're the silence. We're back here in the background. I may not be able to go out and be the running back that I used to be in my high school days, or I was a pulling guard and a linebacker. But to the point, though, I'm not near as agile as I used to be. But I still understand the game. I still understand that to be a good linebacker, you had to watch what was going on and react in that way. That's what got me nailed. But anyway. So have you paid attention? And then, well, I don't know, that you got tired of it. Well, being loyal, well, I don't know. That's a piece of, man, you're disloyal to yourself. How many people, I mean, it's not a judgment call, but if you see somebody who's like, they speak out of, it's like Native Americans speak out of, with forked tongue, or speak out of both sides of mouth. So you're going, oh, yeah, this is great. And on the other side, you're going, yeah, this is just bullshit. I'm just saying this so I can make people happy. Well, you believe in me because, I'm saying this stuff. And, well, and everybody else is talking about it. So, okay. The bottom line is, first, we need to be loyal to ourselves. If we've made a promise to the Creator, to the Spirit, whatever you want. Are you keeping your own promise? Are you being loyal to yourself? And I look around and go, my gosh, there's so many people breaking their own rule. How can you respect or honor someone else? How could people don't respect their elders? I mean, I don't even want to go there, but I got folks that, you guys are my family. My family could care less because I talk like this. And so they don't get it, and I'm not worried anymore. I can't worry about what they think about. Do I still love them? Yes. Kind of like what Dante said. He's like, whether you understand this, I still love you. Whether you love me or not, I still love you. And in that, I'm still loyal. They can say and push me in a corner, and Uncle Dave's a crazy mofo. Fine. I still love them. Regardless of what they say to me, regardless of how they reject me. I had to get above all that. And I know there are still people out there who are having that issue. And you have to just say, sorry. It's more important for me to be me, truly. Now, I'm not hurting anybody. I have to go down the list of stuff. Because if they're trying to blame me for something, that actually isn't happening. They're making the story up, which has happened to me quite a few times. People making up stories about me because they can't stand the fact that I'm trying to be a good spirit, that I'm trying to be a good, positive soul in this realm now to help other people to get, to be more expansive than their own, to understand more of reality, of life, of living, of spirit, etc. So I had to stop and say, you know what? I I will listen, but if you're trying to sway me from my mission, can't do it. Am I loyal to the cause? My understanding of the cause is, oh, hell yeah. You cannot change my mind. I knew back when I was 11 years old, I was working for Mother Mary. I mean, okay. So, and then as I've progressed in my life, I understand I'm working for the goddess, for Mother Earth. And then Dante kind of pulls this stuff together, and hallelujah, I'm working for the same folk. Now, my lesson plan, nah, that's not right. I still don't know what I'm supposed to do except to be here, to understand, to spread this, to give folks hugs when they need them. If I got an extra $20 and somebody needs it, I make $1,000 a month in retirement. That ain't a lot. I used to make $3,000 a week almost. Well, 2,800. And so now I'm like, what? But anyway, it's about what I have, not what I don't have. It's about what I can get by without, where the other people can't. So what seems to be suffering to other people is just like, man, I've been here before, not a problem. Can I go a week or so without? Yeah, okay, here you go. It doesn't matter. Are you going to change my mind? Well, I'm too old and stubborn for that. But even still, in my younger days, you could not get me to turn against the Mother Mary, the goddess. And to me, especially, as she came to me, was Grandmother White Dove. Oh my God, the radiance. But I understand they're just versions of the same thing. It's what I can understand, what I can take in for my own self. So people nowadays, if you're going to make a promise, keep it. Then don't make it. If you're saying, well, I'm working for this, are you really? Then how come you're letting all these other things sideline you? And they're obvious. Pay attention. They're all around you. Well, but these folks over, yeah, but they're stealing your energy. They're trying to dissuade you. They're trying to say you got to have this in order to understand who the goddess is, who Mother Mary or White Dove, or however you want to look at it. Go outside and put your feet on Mother Earth. That's real. That's it. That's the goddess. That is the energy of the universe, etc., etc. You make a promise. Do you keep it? Or you go, well, I'll keep the promise today, but yeah, I don't know. Today is I changed my mind. So that means you're disloyal. You're not an honorable person because you're wishy-washy, change your mind all the time, and you won't even stick with your own conscience. So how can you be a part of something bigger if you're not even in control of yourself in any way, shape, or form? If you're going off on all these places, then are you really, truly who you think you are? I mean, I have to look. I hat check myself all the time, but the thing is that I've already reached in my life, in my 67 years, I've already reached a point. I don't care if you chop my head off, fingers or whatever. I tried to cut my own finger off. So, hey, I'm my own worst enemy. But the thing is though, that I would still rather go through this pain myself than for somebody else to go through it. If somebody said, hey, look, your finger or theirs, I'd go, crap, go ahead, because I'm not nuts. And I have taken punishment like that where somebody else was like, nah, I'll just go ahead and take it because I can handle it. Whatever, I'll make it through. I have had faith for a long time. And so my question to not necessarily all of you, but to you other folk out there that probably will never watch this video. What are they doing? Are they loyal to themselves? Are they loyal to their family? Do they have honor for their brothers, their sisters, their neighbors, the ant, the dog, the trees, Mother Nature? Do they honor anything other than the AI? Hi, Bob. Here's some coffee. So just wanted to put that out there to you. And for Dante, if you watch this, I love you. I love you. I love you. And thank you. I can only imagine what you go through. And in my own way, I have had pain and suffering and so forth. I'm not trying to compare myself, but I can, in my most painful days, I know it doesn't compare. It just doesn't. And so my respect and honor to Dante for what he's already been through and what he's, and so whether or not I truly believe everything, because I'm still processing, I am still going to be loyal. You can't turn me off. I'm still working for the cause. Since age 11, I've been working for the cause. I happened to find Dante that helped me to believe that, yes, it is true. Yes, these things that I went through 12 years of Catholicism and trying to teach me about this and the other thing. And I was like, why did I have all these crusades? They went off to murder people and take back over the Holy Land. And every time another pope came in, they had another freaking, let's go wipe out the Muslims or the Cossacks or whoever. And it was all the Catholics. It was all the popes. It was all the, quote, Christians wanting to go murder all these people in the Crusades. I always thought it was dumb. I never believed all the things that the Catholics tried to shove down my throat, literally. So with that said, hey, take stock in yourself. And if it's just a tiny little grain of sand, like Dante has said, that a grain of sand can create an oyster. Or maybe he didn't say that. Well, sorry, mate, scratch that. I think I heard that from somewhere else. But anyway, to the point, a grain of sand could make an oyster. A grain of sand can be an irritant. And I'm not sure he said that. I saw that on something else too. So, and let me pull that one back. I'm not sure he said that. I'm a little confused at the moment. Let me look at y'all's comments. Sweet Pea, I see you hanging out. Jody, what is the difference between self-serving and self-helping? Self-serving is being selfish. Self-serving is being narcissistic. Self-serving is everything should come to me. Self-help is, hey, I don't understand this. I need some help. Self-serving, now there are those who would I had to learn way back when that if you do something expecting something, then that's self-serving. It just is. Well, I'm going to help this person, but maybe they'll help me later on. Now, you could swing a deal and like go, hey, kind of barter. Look, if I help you now, maybe you can help me later. Okay, now that's different. But if you do something and you say, well, I'm doing this because, but in the back of your head, you're going, yeah, but maybe I can get something, whatever that something might be. That's self-serving. But if you do it without expectations, if you just do it because you can, and because it's okay, and because you should, then it doesn't matter. If it turns out good, turns out bad, whether you get anything back or not, if you did it without any other intent other than, I wish to help, that's not self-serving. Now, it may come back to you that way, but so people who think, well, I don't know. Now, to gain information, I mean, for example, you could say, well, if I cut my finger, and me and Dawn talked about this, and I put some mullein on it. Well, she helped me to wrap my finger. Is that self-serving because I want to heal my finger? No, that's taking care of yourself. But self-serving is that I'm not asking someone to give me something if I already have it or I can do it myself or whatever. But that It's That to me is what self-serving. So too many people do things, but they expect something back, and you got to stop that. You just have to. If you're going to go further in the spiritual realm, you got to give up the idea that, well, I'm going to do this and I'm going to benefit from it. Well, you can put it in the back of your mind and go, you know what? I'm going to say these prayers, and I hope it helps everyone. But now, and from that, you all have sent me prayers, but I don't sit here and say, well, I'm going to say these prayers, and I expect y'all to pray for me. I don't, and I've never said that. I've thanked you all for your prayers, but I have. That was one of the things my goddess, Mother Mary, White Dove, had to say. You can't do this and expect anything. You must do it of free will, of free self, without expectations back. That's a trick. And oh my God, stuff comes in all the time. I never asked for it. Seriously. And I have to think, can't do that. Now, 3 or 4 years ago, I was still learning this process. Now it's like second nature. But I hope that answers your question, Just Spitfire. Or whoever said that. It kind of. Sweet Pea says, he is the sand that irritated the oyster to make the pearl. We are the oyster and the pearl. Thank you. So Dante did say that, but I heard it somewhere else too about a grain of sand. Jody, Jody, you're the one that asked about self-serving. Self-helping is trying to understand things. Now, one of the things that, and recently, there are many of us who are on this same kick, if you will. It's fine to do reading in different areas to try to gain more knowledge, but people are finding things, and it's taking all of their energy away from them because they think, well, this is really cool, and all this, and maybe I should believe this now. Read history for what it is and understand. In my 67 years, there are so many lies in the news. People have asked me stuff about how it was in the 60s, and I go, well, I was a hippie. I still have long hair. I'm still a hippie. But what was it like? Are the people back there and everybody was dirty? No, not in the folks I knew. You might have went a day or two without a shower, but usually you were out in the park stoned out of your gourd or high on mescaline or something, having a trip with the universe. So you didn't shower for 2 days because you were in another universe. But, we couldn't wait to go swimming and take a bath. Maybe it was in the river, but that's not the point. This idea of the dirty hippie, now there were dirty hippies, but there are dirty rednecks, there are dirty, So, but, the dirty hippie thing came in and that it was all about this and nobody worked and we all later. No, that ain't true at all. There was a percentage, but to say that all hippies belonged in this group is just not true. But history says, ooh, So history is already a lie. The Twin Towers, New York, Building 7. Come on, guys. Are they lying? They've already tried to change history, and the books all say these things. Hey, Max Vision, how are you? Just Fit. I read that somewhere. Okay, you haven't watched Dante. Sweet Pea says, I wonder what the most of us would do if we had to face the reality of it all daily. Actually experience it, witness it, live it, feel it every day. Yeah, I agree. If you understand what many of us do, now I do not understand everything that Dante, trust me, I'm not even trying to go there. But in what I do know of the spiritual warfare, of the good versus the evil, the good and the bad, hey, that is definitely going on. And can I work for the good side in whatever I may be able to do? Because anything that I can do without, expectation, anything that I give to the universe of freely of myself for someone else's benefit without regards to mine, then that's a win. That's working for the cause, in my humble opinion. That's what Mother Mary and the goddess has told me. We need to stick together. How many people can we untrained, unlearned from all of the social dogma and all the religious dogma. How can we find truth in spirit? And I don't bring in religious texts. I, talk about this or that, but I talked about Siddhartha, and the spirit realm. Can you understand and have faith that the spirit realm is true? Can you have the faith and see that there are these other things that are real, whether or not you understand them or not? But if you have your mind open and say, but I actually, you know what? I think they do exist. There's a lot of evidence. There's a lot of this. And if it resonates in here, then why deny it? Now, there are people that are resonating in other areas, and I'm still praying for them. Please, Jesus, y'all don't go there. But because people are seeking answers, and goes back to the self-help question. You got to read things, but it doesn't mean that everything must, oh my God, this is the truth now. Well, I read this over here and there, 200,000 people subscribe to a channel and they all believe this. And, oh, I'm going to go with them. Really? Maybe you should just listen. Take that in, take this over there, take that one, this one, that. Take it in. But you got to look at the big picture, because regardless of what you believe, there is a big picture. Good against evil, and it's been going on for a long time. There's more information coming out about this, that, and the other thing. But this war of the spirits, of angels, of man, this has been going on for a long time. Believe it or not. But if you know in your heart that there has been this torment and turmoil in the universe, then you can't turn it back. You can't unbelieve it anymore, because we see it all around us. I talked about a week ago, I did a video about fear. And in that I said, we just had these shootings in Dayton and blah, blah, blah. And I said, the next thing if we don't have to have guns, people can stab each other or hit each other in the head with a baseball bat, and then the next day, there were stabbings, and there's been a couple of stabbings since. And 2 days after I made that video, somebody was attacked with a baseball bat. And I'm like, I don't want to prophesy this. I see some of these things, and it's people that are reacting or overreacting to the universe. I don't want these things to happen. I don't want to hit somebody with a baseball bat. I don't want to stab anybody. But if I have to defend myself, especially for a good reason, sorry, y'all don't know what you're going to get. I do not want to go there. I have a dark side that I would rather not come out, but I know it's there. And I know if I have to, I will or can. Just like I held a bloody stump of a man who was bleeding to death on the side of the highway. If we hadn't pulled him out of that burning truck, he would have been dead. If I had just stopped and said, oh my God, I'm too scared. No. We have to be able to say, listen, what's right? Should I go help this person or let the truck blow up? Should I leave him on the side of the road with half a leg missing and bleeding into the grass? Should I just ignore them? No. What is the right thing to do? Sometimes it's tough. Listen, you don't think it was hard for me to grab somebody's bloody stump and hold it with my hands? Yeah, because I've just never had to do those kinds of things. But when the angels and Creator and Mother Mary said, you got to be here at this time, all the bells, literally bells and whistles went off. And we were there just after the accident and saved this gentleman's life. Couldn't save his leg, but we saved his life. And I'm very grateful for that, because I listened to the universe. And by doing so, me and my friend saved another human being. If I'd been there, I still would have done what I could, but his help was, necessary. But if I'd have been in my car by myself, I still would have done it. That wouldn't have mattered. So what do you find to be loyal to? Many people don't find loyalty within themselves or their friends or their family. Now, I know my family, don't get me, but I still love them. I still send them cards. I still wish them happy birthday. Even though they ignore me, I still love them. They're still my family. They're still my blood. I still love them. They can't take that away. They can hate me, till I die, have weird feelings about old Uncle Dave or, Hawkeye or whatever. But I'm not going to change my mind about them, regardless of how they feel about me. Because you got to think higher than that. And I appreciated so much when Dante said, you don't, cheers, I get it. And it hit me right here on so many levels that I had to share this with you, as I share many things with you. But the thing about loyalty and honor, Native Americans, they honor Mother Earth. They honor Father Sky. They honor white people don't honor anything. Scouts honor, um, you know, thrifty, brave, clean, reverent, be prepared, yada, yada. But the thing is, though, if you have taken any kind of oath, if you have made a promise to anyone, anything, for me, I said, listen, I know you guys got a bigger thing for me to do. I believe you. I trust you. I have faith. Just show me what to do. Show me what to do. And if it resonates with what I already know in the good way, I know when something evil's coming in. No, boy, it's like a bad fart. Man, it's like a bad fart. Whoa, you just like, oh God, I don't know who let that one out. But that's some get away from me. So, I trust and hope that more people will understand this. Have faith in yourself. Who are you loyal to? Can you make the promise? I will be loyal to this cause, to the cause of righteousness, to the cause of loyalty and honor? Or are you going to say, well, I don't know, it's too tough for me. I don't know, it's cold, or, it's too hot, or what? Change your mind, flip, boom, be disloyal. Well, I don't know. They might shoot me, so I'm going to turn in my buddies. No, shoot me. Sorry, I ain't turning in my buddies. That's how it is. And I mean, I went to prison for that. Not shooting, but to the point of, we'll let you off if you rat on your friends. Sorry, throw me. I'm already in jail. And it worked out. And I didn't turn anybody in. Nobody else got in trouble. I took my own medicine, but it wouldn't have done me any good if I'd have ratted on them, but I'd have lived with the guilt the rest of my life that I turned my fellow, whoever they were, in. Ain't gonna do it. Haven't done it. And just, do I plan on doing it in the future, being disloyal or dishonorable? Nah. They're gonna have to literally bust me in the head to where I'm like, I don't know, I guess that. But in my own right mind, in my own spirit, I can't turn back. I simply could not turn on any of you. Turn against you. You can say, well, Dave, Hawkeye, I hate what the fuck you said. You pissed me off and I don't believe you. Well, okay, I'm sorry. Sometimes you got to be the grown-up in the room. Sometimes you have to call a spade and go, are you sure about that? Sounds to me, now I'm not making any remarks about it, but it sounds to me like maybe you're trying to make up some kind of excuse. Well, I don't believe in that. Well, something. Well, I'm okay. Well, are you really? Because the hardest thing to do is to be honest and truthful and honorable to your own self. Not to anybody else, not anybody else's opinion. And I see folks in the spirit world out there making comments and things, not you guys, but out there, and they're just screaming stuff. I say screaming because it sounds like screaming to me, but they're screaming stuff, and it's like, but they're not making any sense. They're not being loyal to themselves or what they've just previously said. It's like all over the place. More chaos from the spirit side. Don't that suck? So some of these, quote, new age spiritual folks that I'm have been watching now for many years, I gotta stop and say, man, I'm gonna keep praying for those folks, but man, they've gone off on ways. They have dishonored themselves. Oh my God, I can't believe this. But I'm gonna keep praying, and I'm gonna keep hoping that they will understand. Whoops, I think I made a goof, and it has to do with me. Maybe I'm searching too much. Maybe I've already got the answer. Have any of you gone out and I'm speaking about some of these other folk now, not you guys, but have any of you gone out and actually done the tree meditation? Have you tried the little MP3 or MP4 video? Somebody got a kick out of that, and blessings to you. I get a kick out of it too. But I run these little movies in my head that give me my meditation. I've never been able to focus on a color or anything. That's never, ever worked for me. But I visualize in different ways that get me to the same place, possibly higher than other people, because I'm not just focusing on a color. Well, it's going to change. And I'm not expecting that. I'm allowing myself to just be open to the universe through my spirit guide, through my guardian angel, not just freewheeling it out of here, but through a proven spirit guide, my guardian angel. I go through them. So the information that comes through, thumbs up, cheers, So my friends, God, I've been at this for over an hour. I can't believe, and I was just going to spend 30 minutes. Okay, I'm going to read y'all's some more of your stuff. Let me go back up here. And Max Visions, Jody, Just Spitfire. Max says, what if that man went home? Oh, wait a minute. Just Spitfire says, hello, Max. Still beating myself up for missing y'all's live stream with Brian. He wants us to do another. So, and he said Tuesdays are like a good, I think, Max, he said Tuesdays seem like a good time around 9ish. So we may be back on this coming. I don't know. I haven't checked my email, but Max, it would be a pleasure to go back on with you again with Brian. So, yeah, we'll get together again. What if a man went home and beat his wife? Every action has an unknown reaction. And I've had some folks ask me about authority. And it's like, well, in the Bible, they say that, man has control over his wife and she should be submissive. And I think that's just bullshit. I think people should be treated as people. I have never went with this idea, I am the husband, you will do as I say. Now, I am your husband, you should at least honor me. That doesn't mean you should bow down and kiss my boots. No, but we should honor each other. Don't do something behind my back and then go, well, I didn't think, no. Honor is trusting and respecting the other person. So when I say honor and cherish, I mean to honor that this other person, male or female, but all of my wives have been female, in that I look and go, but I'm going to honor you. I'm not going to lie to you. That's why one of my ex-wives, she accused me of sleeping around. And it was like, I couldn't lie to you. I can come home and look at you in the eye and say, I have not slept with another woman. I did not have sex with that. But and be honest and truthful, because I didn't. And because otherwise, if you'd asked me that question, the lie would have just popped out of me. You'd have known. So I had to be honorable to myself, even though that, like my last wife, she was a real nut job. That's beside the point. I still, until we were divorced, I still honored our marriage. Kind of stupid in some ways, but not. To me, honor is loyal is loyal. Whether they were or whatever she did, that's not the point. I was loyal and honorable to myself, to the promise I made to another. So am I have authority over anyone else? No. Now, I have managed people. I've directed many plays. In the one play, there were like 28 different actors and actresses. And, all this backstage crew, there were 35 people on this small set. And thank goodness I was able to pull it all together. And we did Scrooge live on stage. And, at 2 years running. So it's like, but what I learned about authority was I am your manager, I'm the camp counselor, but I am not necessarily your boss, your authority. You will do this or no. I always figured out how. Listen, I really need you to do this. Okay, it's important because, and also something Dante said. And I have agreed with this. People say, well, I'm just a small part in the big picture. Well, listen, one missed cue in a theater production. And believe me, I've been stuck on stage a couple of times as an actor. Somebody missed their cue and literally had a dream crap up, staying in character, by the way. So if somebody's supposed to knock on the door and say pizza, and that's all they do, that's a bit part. The point is, if the pizza guy doesn't come, it doesn't set up the rest of the story. If somebody just walks on stage and does a little bit part, that bit part has something to do with the whole play. Otherwise, it wouldn't be there. Period. So in this grand scheme of life, we all have a part to play. And so you think, well, I'm not very important. I felt that way also. But in that, I say, well, wait a minute. I can have I didn't know this, but I can have conversation with you folk. And we can share this knowledge. We can share the awareness. We can share the love, the honor, the loyalty, and respect, if nothing more than between us, which is a good thing, I think. So, but, people say, well, I'm just part of life. We all have a part in this. Even though we might be a silent hermit living down here in the woods like I am, I'm that silent majority. I'm that voice in the wilderness. But even a voice in the wilderness can have an effect. Whether I do YouTube videos or not, I can still pray. I can still send out good energy. I can, So, and put my glasses back on. I really can't see the words tonight. It's all really whacked out. Just Spitfire says, I feel strongly about the damage this town is doing and keep feeling I have to bring awareness somehow, some way. And Just Spitfire, it's coming to you. We've already had a little bit of discussion, but I get these little messages in that, that kind of sort of come your way, in that dig quietly, but be persistent. And that like I have to let people know that all the chicken farms are killing the river, but I can't go out there and protest and beat a sign, and because nobody will listen to that. So I'm also looking for a way to bring awareness. They've killed the rivers down here. I mean, they're literally there are no mussels, there are no frogs, there's no bugs, there's no turtles. I didn't even see any alligators the other day when I was down there. I mean, it's getting bad. And the fishermen are noticing it. They're going, why is the water so green? It's never been this green. Yeah. We're going to figure it out. And if nothing else, we are a witness to what is happening. Max says, although I would have helped as well, we do not know the ultimate result of our actions. 10 minutes suggests 10 minutes to 10 years. Now, Max, I just want to state this. Sometimes, now this is for me, but sometimes by being connected to the universe, like the night we saved that gentleman from burning up in that truck, and I, holding his bloody stump, I could have stayed home that night and would have never known, but I didn't. And I knew if I followed my angel message, I knew what the outcome would be, was to save this human being. I didn't know it at the time, but as it came to me. So if we understand that maybe there's something like, you know what, I've got this urge to, I don't know, go to the park and sit on the bench. And maybe some child trips and falls in the water and you save him from drowning. You don't know, but maybe there's these little things. So I just want to say that there are times when what we feel or see or maybe experience in an odd way, that might come to us a lot sooner than 10 years. I'm not discounting what you're saying, Max. I'm just saying there's another level to this. And in my last 10, 15 years, this has come to me. And I'm 67. I've had a little bit more time on this planet, not pulling rank, just saying I've been here a little longer than some other folk. And I've only had the opportunity to experience more. It doesn't make me smarter or more wise, because if I don't follow what I already know, then what good is it? But to the point, though, as you reach different levels of reality and understanding of the spirit realm, so will these things that maybe you have this one thought, and 6 hours later, like I was talking about in the video about fear, people could stab each other. Oh my God, they had stabbings. They've had a couple of stabbings since then. Oh my God, I wish I'd never said it. But was it my fault? No, because I was reading what the universe is saying. So what I said resulted in 6 hours later, there was a stabbing. And did I prophesy that? But my point is that I knew right away. It shocked the crap out of me. It still is. But so when we pay attention to self, not being narcissistic, but when we listen to our spirit guide, sometimes we get results really quick. Just putting that out there. But yes, sometimes, like Mother Mary, at age 11, it took me 55 years to get it. So some of this stuff don't come easy. So there's both sides of that coin. So, but thank you, Max. It's a very good point of view. I just throwing that out there. Just Spitfire about bad things happening to the planet and things. It is happening in a lot of places. I got a friend of mine that lives near Jessup, Georgia, and they've been in fights with people who they polluted the swamps. They polluted like 8 or 10,000 acres of swampland over there in Jessup, Georgia, kind of sort of over towards Savannah way. And that because it's already wetland anyway, they went in there and dumped a bunch of stuff, and it polluted the groundwater. People got sick and died from some of these things. And but people had to, there was a lady I knew, or I do know, and she ramrodded this thing. But it was after a near-death experience. That was odd. Can we figure out a way? Well, I don't want to die. I don't want to have a near-death experience to figure out how. But in her case, it did. And we talked about this, and she was like, it was a really strange thing, but I can talk to you about it, Hawkeye. So, but the thing is that we never know until we try. Jody says, curious if a person makes a promise because their emotions compelled them to out of guilt, then should one still go forward with it? That's a question. If it was a bad mistake, if somebody says, well, look, if you turn in your neighbor, you may not be able to go back on it, but you can make the promise to never do it again. That's one of the things when we don't have control of our emotions, we make really bad mistakes. I was the king of bad mistakes for years. So I understand that. But to the point, though, you got to get over that and go, well, wait a minute. Now, if it's something that is, if that's something that you made a promise about in guilt is wrong, then to back away from it and for self-preservation, maybe to go along with something bad simply because you promised. Well, hey, look, we're going to rob this bank. Well, I don't know about that. Yeah, but you promised. Are you going to still go rob the bank, or are you going to have a little bit of conscience and go, well, maybe I should think about this? So I can't answer that, Jody, to you, except that if you made the promise out of guilt, then that you didn't really make the promise. If you made it because, well, I don't think they expect me to answer, then you didn't really make it. You allowed them to make the answer for you. So in a kind of way, you were peer pressured into making a decision. Because if you thought about it, you probably were going, well, I don't know. Because if for me, if somebody comes up and say, well, Hawkeye, what you said, and I'm like, yeah, but I thought about it. That was a really bad idea. And I'm feeling guilty now, and I refuse to go any further with it. That's happened a few times, but it's been a while back. But there are times when people try to convince us to do something when in the pit of your stomach, you might, like, for example, I was helping a friend of mine, and I knew it was a bad situation. I knew it was a bad situation, but my friends didn't have any other choice, and I went along with it. Now, did I suffer from it in ways? Yes. Did kind of nasty things try to come? Yes. But in the long run, I realized it was only going to be a short time, and I kept it to a short time. So I kept my word, even though I knew, oh man, this is probably but it did end up okay in the long run. So in the middle of it all, I was like, oh my God, I think, oh man. But I kept my word. Now, it was between a couple of people, and it didn't involve a lot of stuff. But, this third person that I was helping my friend's brother. And so I was sticking loyal to my friend, but his brother was being such a pain in the neck. And but his brother knew it. So it was like, so I waited it out. I prayed about it. And even Breaking Dawn helped me and with the incident. And I made it through, and things worked out better in the long run. But there was a time I was like, man, just take this away from me. I did wrong, but I realized there's something more in this, and my inconvenience is just not a part of it. So, Jody, take that for what it means. But if you answered out of guilt, then that's not really how you feel. Then you're being disloyal to yourself. And that's kind of what I mean about this. Well, I'm going to do this because I promised. Yeah, but are you being disloyal to yourself? Now, my decision about helping my friend's brother, I wasn't being disloyal, but I was like getting fed up. And so was that. But I realized that it was my own issues. I had to deal with it because I made it through. No big deal, So I hope that helped. I hope that helps. What was the promise? Exactly. Thank you, Breaking Dawn. What does your heart say? Yep, I agree, Max. If the action was evil, is it good to get away with it? To get away with it or get away from it? I would be asked that. But y'all are just kind of saying that. You got the right idea. Smell, sounds, taste, and sense of touch can manifest when remote viewing, not just colors and shapes, not that limited. Yeah. And it depends on everybody and each individual's perception. Now, for example, I've had a lot of brain damage, from hits in the head, baseball bats, bricks, car accidents, going, crunching my head on a windshield, and busting a steering wheel in half. Yeah, that's happened to me. But in that, I'm still recovering my brain cells. But so how I picture things has changed due to the fact I've had 20 major head bangs in my lifetime so far. Banged my head the other day. It was like, oh, not again. But anyway, so how I see things in the spirit world are in it's different for every person. A lot of people see colors. A lot of people see this. Other people see that. Whatever it is. But just because you don't, for a long time, there were people who said, well, imagine the blue color. And I was like, okay. I never saw a blue color. Well, imagine this light coming down. I said, okay. But I didn't explain and I didn't tell anybody that I don't really see it. But I see it in my own way. Oh, well, I envision the light coming down through your head, purple and black. Yeah, okay. I really don't see it, but I'm going to, if they said, you see it, I just kind of went, yeah. It really wasn't a definite, and it wasn't until later on that I had to say, I don't see this shit you folks do. I don't see the blue lights. I don't see this thingy. I don't get it. But anyway, Max says you should really watch a couple of my vids. It's on my list. I've been knocked out here lately. I'm still trying to get over this bad, whatever this infection is on me. It's really knocked me out. I got to admit that it's trying to whoop my ass. Um, uh, People get smells emotions. People get all kinds of different emotions, and flashing lights will trigger things too. Scent, Sweet PC says scent carries such memory. Lots of things carry that. But anyway, that's just it. There are more senses, but taste, feel, touch, smell, hear, yeah. But then when you go beyond those, you sense things through your third eye, and you sense things like I've talked about peripheral visions and things. You sense there's an object around you or an entity near you. You sense them. So that's a sixth. And that sixth sense kind of brings in some other areas too. But anyway, let me go on down. Uh, Max says, I did one with the first time you smelt lemons. It was neat. Yep. How do you do that? Jeff Spitfire says, our town was taken to court by preservation groups in South Georgia back in 94 for damaging the mussels. Yeah, we need to keep up with that too. Max says, I made the hidden question, gave the target number. They clear their minds and make the connection. Just Fitfire says, the creeks on the map don't even exist now. There are things like that somebody asked me, they said, so when was the last time you've been on your river, Dave? And I was like, 8 years. What? Well, okay, 5 then. My river in my backyard hasn't flowed. So anyway, yeah. Trees, things down. It's horrible. Max says they cemented over most of the creeks in the areas around here. Yeah, got to make the suburbs. Spitfire says they're building a huge warehouse in hopes of tenants. Yeah, stupid concrete kills. You know, there was a Melanie song years ago. They paved paradise and put up a parking lot. Do wow wow wow. Anyway, but yeah. Breaking Dawn says night. Yeah, I'm fixing to get off here too after an hour and a half. But like hanging out with you guys. What are they talking about? Vision, pillars, circles, lights. My goodness, it turned into a disco. Yeah, there you go. Max says some have only an emotional vision. I agree with that. And certain smells, like for example, certain types of incense uh, will trigger certain memories of like me sitting with other gurus and stuff. So I get that as well. There are lots of things that we can do to bring about spiritual awareness. Sight, smells, taste, touches. You know, I mean, the list goes on. Just Spitfire says, I sense the water's burdens. Yeah, that's why when I go to the lake, I always try to do a water ceremony. I mean, I literally stand in the water with my drum and flute and with sage, and I take crystals and I put them in the water where I'm standing, and I try to bring blessings and healing to all waters, because all water, especially if they're rivers, oceans, not necessarily lakes so much unless they're connected and they flow out, but all water's connected, all streams, all oceans, it's all connected. So this energy, when I go to the river, I pray to the water, not just the river, but the whole planet. So yeah, there's energy and love and so forth in that. So the river brought me healing the other day, even though it was hot, low, kind of nasty in places. Even though I cut my finger, I still came out ahead. Emotional vision explained. And Max says, because the person have no other senses reacting. Sweet Bee, How do you turn them on? You try different smells. You try different things. And what you do is you might meditate and say, okay, what fruit or what candy, I say candy, maybe it's cinnamon or something. You say, what thing would you like for me to try? So lemons, whatever pops in your brain, it's like, look at this picture and tell me what you see. Don't think about it. So it's that kind of a thing. So when you ask um whatever it is that I should smell, allow yourself to tell you. Go try an orange, try a grapefruit, try a grape, try, I don't know, try a leaf, or try whatever it is. Try sage, try, you know, Nagachampa, incense. So you may be led, and every time you ask the question, what smell would do me good now? You will get it. You quite possibly, and expect this, you'll get a different answer every time. Well, lemon today. Well, I don't know. They want papaya. They want me to smell a papaya. Where the hell am I going to get a papaya? But I mean, to the point though, if you allow yourself the information, it'll tell you what smell. And when you get the hang of it, you'll be able to go, I remember that, one of the things about lemons back in the days of, Laurel and Hardy, um, 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 anyway, the Little Rascals, you'd see somebody like playing in the band, and somebody would cut a lemon and chew on it like this, and you'd see the people trying to pucker up to play the whatever it was, whatever wind instrument it was, they go because they saw the lemon. They didn't smell it or hear it, but they saw somebody bite into a lemon, and it automatically triggered this reaction in the person playing the trombone or the tuba or whatever it is. So, but to that point though, for example, my aunt, who's in her 80s now and still around, but you get somebody with a blackboard and somebody with long fingernails, and as soon as they go over towards the blackboard, they don't even have to touch the blackboard with their fingernails. You already anticipate what that sound is going to sound like, and your spine goes like this, and the hair gets on the back of your neck. So you will learn to associate different smells without having the fruit. That's another point also. And as part of a meditation, you could think, I want to remember what an orange smells like. Not necessarily what the orange smell invokes, because there are certain smells around Christmas time or Easter, for example, or Thanksgiving, the smell of, pumpkin pie in the oven, when people don't usually eat pumpkin pie the rest of the year, but oh my God. And there's that smell of pumpkin pie. There's the sweet potato souffle. There's but it's only about that. And they invoke certain emotions within us. Just my 2 cents about that. But and just Spitfire, so I got to do a ceremony such as that. Just Spitfire, we'll chat offline or whatever, and between you and me. But I may also need to do a video about certain ways to do water ceremonies, just to help folks out, because the more of us who pray for the water and can do that, the greater it can be. So just saying. Jody says, speaking of the orbs, one flying in the other room, my dog just looked up at last couch. Yeah, I think I saw one coming across here tonight as well. There was something over here in the side over here a little bit ago. But Max Vision, some may have a strong sense of smell, some sight, hearing, etc., and some may have strong and every combination. I agree with you, Max. Absolutely. It's like, well, it's like the smells of Thanksgiving, pick one, but anyway, but to the point. Sweet Pea says, feelings, intuition, the rest is kind of, Max says, but you can strengthen with practice on my channel. Absolutely. There's lots of ways to do it. Go hit Max and see what you can do there. The things that work for me may not work for somebody else, and things that Max uses, not to say that Max is wrong. Now, Max, I love you, I do, but I haven't been able to go through all of it and understand it all. And some of it is like, some of it for me is like backing up, because I have to go backwards to look at how something is. This is my own personal self. But Max, you've got some wonderful ideas and wonderful methods of helping folks. And, y'all check Max out. Spitfire says, I did see one at the beginning. You can do card images or targets, which can be anything from aliens to lemon, anytime, anywhere. Absolutely. And that's one. Well, for example, I was teaching a young lady the other day, and I gave her a crystal. And fluorite. I knew it started with an F. Fluorite. God, I couldn't remember. I had this rock and was showing it to my friend the other day. And it's hard for you to see. And let me put this. But I couldn't remember the name of this thing, and I knew it started with an F. But it's fluorite. And this thing's got all kinds of different colors in it. Blues and purples and yellows. And so one of the things that a shaman taught me years ago, and this particular rock in itself has got so many facets on it. I really wish you could see it up close. But you can see there's like these different things. When you look at it really close, it looks like the surface of Mars or something. There are universes within this rock. And so by focusing on just one little spot on this rock, it will show me, and it's not the same place every time, because, I might focus on this white part of, it's hard for you to see, but there's a white streak right here, and it's more blue over here. The light just doesn't do it justice. But anyway, this is fluorite. And this came out from Brazil, actually. And anyway, but with this particular rock, by looking at the different colors, and there are some, when you look at them just right, I wish you could hold it and see it, but this segment is white with some purple over here. And this section, there's a section that runs right through the middle of it. It's all the same piece of rock, but it's different colors, and they're together, but not. It's interesting. But anyway, my point to that is the colors in the rock, and if you focus on the colors and allow yourself into the rock, it will give you senses, smells, sights, dimensions, stuff. But you have to allow it. You have to go, holy crap, that's possible. You have to leave some imagination up here, Too many people are afraid of their own imagination. Oh, what if this shit's true? What if it is? And what if you've been running from the truth within yourself? That's one of the things that people have to realize. And of all the things that I keep talking about, and other people too, but try to stay on track with your own spirit. Try this over here, but if it's taking you off your task, like all this studying, everybody's got to know everything about the Anunnaki when most of it may be false. So, there have been people talking about, well, the emerald tablets, well, Dante showed us the emerald tablets have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 different sides and 8 different ways to read the damn thing. But those people who say, well, we have discovered the truth about the emerald tablets. It's like, really? Are you sure? Just asking. Oh, well, we understand all the hieroglyphs. And what's that little helicopter thingy right there? Well, I don't know. That just, that's a sky god or something. Really? Okay. Just saying. That looks like a freaking airplane to me. Yeah, but no, it's not. It's a, it was a dream. Oh, come on. Give it up. Tell the truth. So there's so many people out there that the truth is staring right at you, but somebody else has got an opinion. We all got an opinion, like buttholes, right? But the thing is though, what rings true? We have to go back to this. How does this sit with me? That's the important thing. That's it. And understand that what we think is the truth I mean, being raised Catholic, old Catholics are right. In the Catholic religion, nobody else is going to heaven except Catholics. Nobody. The Jews ain't going. The Muslims ain't going. Anybody who is not a Catholic ain't going to heaven if you're a Catholic. And that's one reason I said, nope, I ain't going there, because my granny was one of the most spiritual, loving people. And the priest told her she's going to hell because she wasn't baptized in the Catholic Church. And I'm like, bye, priest. My granny's going to heaven because she's one of the loveliest individual ladies, and her heart and her pure, and I watched her go into heaven. And you're trying to tell me that she is going to hell and can't get in because she's not Catholic? Religious dogma, social dogma. Granny went to heaven. She comes by and visits me. And speaking, Max, Granny had used rose water as her, quote, perfume. And old-timey ladies, and she smelled like grandma. She smelled like rose water. It wasn't really a perfume. It was rose water. I don't know if they still have it. But when Granny comes to visit me, I smell rose water. So there is a scent attached with her. Now, I can't say that Granny still smells like rose water, but when she's around, it's like, Grandma, I know it's her. There is no argument about that. So there are attachments and ways and things and stuff. So yeah, I agree with you, Max, on yeah. Yes, heal the water, right. You have a rock too, Charlie Brown. Oh, I got a bunch of rocks around my house. I mean, I could do a video and just go collect rocks and things. For example, I was showing my friend the other day. I said, this is tourmaline, and I literally mined this out of North Georgia, up near the Guidestones up in Georgia, up in that area. And this is a piece of black tourmaline right here, and it's in a quartz. Oh crap! Actually, this is the same kind of matrix that you can find gold, but I seriously doubt there's any gold in this. But this is, and the shiny stuff up here is mica, and there's another piece of it here in its own piece of substrate here. There's some mica, kind of shiny right there. It looks a little goldish, but it's mica, and it's built right in. There's still another piece of this black tourmaline that runs up through the rock inside. Now, black tourmaline is horrible for for jewelry making. It's very brittle, very difficult to work with. But in the spiritual realm, black tourmaline is like, if you want something to protect you, you charge up one of these babies and use some black tourmaline, and it's always sitting down here beside my chair, along with this other great big rock. But now to this other point, I don't where to go. Well, this is a piece of green tourmaline, and it's very dark green. It's not black. It's very dark green. And green tourmaline is used for healing and such. And because I have problems with my neck after all the operations I've had on it, I use this green tourmaline for my own neck and for health and for protection as well. But anyway, my sky's 5D. Thank you. Truth is fleeting. Sometimes it actually is. Stones, yes, Max, they are in the stones. And subjective, yes. I must agree, because there are sometimes like where is my great big crystal? It's hanging around here somewhere. Oh, well, anyway, I got a really big, it's outside. Anyway, it's a big crystal. And when I look down in it, I just ask, what can you show me? Now, if I hold the crystal, I get a different vision versus if I sit something down. It's also the mode, the mood, what's going on in the world as to what you're going to get out of the crystal. So, you know, and it is subjective, but at the same point, it can be very strong. In this, the subject could be, are you being honest with yourself? I don't know. Am I? Uh, well, nobody can, answer that except me. But, so, and I use that as just a subjective kind of keep the topic together from what I originally discussed. But, um, fluoride helps with the inner strength. It's a power stone. Helps with focus and concentration, says Accounting Services. Helps with sleep, deep relaxation, protection, increased energy levels. Yes. Now, this particular piece of fluoride, each one of the colors has a more specific purpose. This piece of fluoride that I have here is multicolored, multidimensional. It's a very special stone. I've never seen anything like it, and I've had it, I don't know, for going on 30 years now. But anyway, um, yes. Um, Black tourmaline is great for detox, emotionally detox too. Yep, I'd agree. Now, I've got many different books on crystals and things, and very few of them actually agree on all points. So I have to say this, in Accounting Services, you're right. But it also depends on which book you read. If you read something in the Celtic area, they're going to say that these rocks have a different meaning. If you look over here and folks in Wiccan and things, rocks, colors have a different purpose. Even a Native American, for example, I was discussing about the time that I had an owl feather in my hat. To many Native Americans, an owl feather is, oh, don't you come near me. You got owl magic. And then there are others who go, you got owl magic? Come on in. So owls, as just an animal totem, like stones, it depends on where you're from, as these people believe it to be this way. These people believe it to be another way. But the bottom line is that all rocks, even people like to say, "Whoa, let me polish this up," and I go, "Don't you dare! Don't you dare touch that stone to a polishing wheel. Polish maybe, but grinding. Now polishing is different. You use a little bit of rouge and you polish it. But if you're going to tumble it and change it, you're going to knock all the edges off because you want it to look pretty. Oh, shame on you, because it's the natural element that makes it so powerful. But people got to make it look pretty, got to tumble it, please don't do that. Not if you want to use the rock for what it's really worth. Anyway. And just Spitfire, that was not directed at you, but I think I told you something similar. But that I wasn't picking on you. I'm thinking of some other folks. They're like, "Oh, these rocks, can't wait to tumble them." And I'm like, they got so much good energy in them now. Yeah, but wait till I tumble it. What's tumbling? How's it tumbling? Because it's going to feel so nice in my hand. Oh, anyway. But thank you, Just Spitfire. Yeah, I need to have yeah, Max, I agree with you. You can catch some really weird stuff. My sky's 5D. The totality of my work speaks volumes. The sky and clouds are giving me disclosure. Yep, and there's a lot more up there too. My sky 5D, and Just Spitfire. No way would I tumble it. Thank you. And Max says I found a fossilized heart. Oh, that's got to be interesting. Jody says, "Where's a good place I learned about the power of stone and absorbs its power at work?" Jody, it depends. Like I was just saying, I probably, and I'm not lying, I probably got at least 10 books on crystals and things. And that's not counting my Native American books and other books just on minerals and rocks and so forth like that. Um, Most people would agree that black tourmaline is protection, healing, something like that. Tourmalines in general, what color? Now, it may be that what color works for you. So, like for me, I've had this piece of green tourmaline for 20, 25 years, maybe even more. And I've got other rocks that I've just had for so long, I forget, But when I need them, I can literally hear them call and say, "You need to come get me, Hawkeye. I need to be in your pocket." Oh, really? And then I put it in my pocket for the day or whatever. And I go, I really needed that crystal in my pocket. The crystal was right. So you have to read a broad scope of things. Don't just pick one, oh, the Wiccans look at it this way or the Druids look at it this way. You need to look at the broad spectrum of crystals. I have found that what I have done through the 10 books that I've read, and there's a lot of online stuff, but some of this stuff I look at and go, where in the F did you guys get that information? I've been studying rocks since the late 60s. I have never, ever in all my studies heard what you folks are talking about. I'm sorry, but books and people and stuff. And these people are like, oh, but this is this stone is like this and it doesn't. I'm going, but nothing else I read says what these folks, and this is like one of these online spiritual guru thingies, take it with a grain of salt. If you read something and you've got a stone and you're holding it and you go, "Ooh, that hits home," then that might be the right thing for you. And everything else that you read about it may not work for you. And it may actually be garbage. But somebody else might hold onto a rock and they get a totally different vision. So who's to say that they're wrong? So and I've always done this, I take a broad scope of everything. What do these people say about this rock, fluorite? What do these people say about this one? What do the Native Americans say? What do the South Americans say? What do people in Brazil and Argentina think? What do people in China think about this rock? Because they've all got a different point of view, but there are similarities between them all. And that's the part you focus on. So just saying, I hope this helped. I mean, I've literally been studying for 35 years, 40 years, some of this stuff. And I will tell you right away, I don't know it all, not even close, but I understand enough to be able to share with you and say, yeah, I find this to be true. This rock's been sitting down here for a long time. Does it protect me? It's kept me from having some nasty entities enter my realm, if you will. When I use the fluorite, like for example, I think I showed these the other day, but because I'm here and sharing them, this was one big piece of rock, and this is amethyst. And I think you can see how big it is. It was cut in fours. So up here at the top was this much again, and it came out of a talc mine there in the Nantahala forest on the edge of the Nantahala River in North Carolina. And so each of these are very powerful in themselves, but I keep them together like this as they are, and they just radiate out good energy. But now what these rocks do for me and how I use them, sit and whatever, people look at them and just go, well, holy crap, I feel better just looking at them, So, but to the point, everything has its value. Every person that picks up a crystal will feel different because every person's frequency is different. And I gave, as an experiment, my friend who's 10 years old, I know I knew her since she was born, sort of like she's like an adopted granddaughter kind of thing. But anyway, her mother came and I said, I promised her a crystal. And I said, this is the one I think she'll like, but here's another one. And if whichever one she doesn't take, you can have the other one. How about that? So I said, I think she's going to like this, blah, 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 blah. And then, but here's my second choice. So when she got home, she just held them out and said, Uncle Dave sent these to you. Guess which one she picked? She picked the one that I picked for her, the first. And her mom was like, how do you know? And I'm like, but then when I saw her just the other day, I said, so here's another crystal. I said, what hand do you want it in? And she put it in this hand, this is right for me. Sometimes the camera flips it around, but this is right hand. And right hand is for taking things in. in in some of the Native American traditions, shaman traditions, and the left hand is the getting rid of. So if you have a bad thought, bad thing, you give it away with your left, and you bring in good energy with the right. Now, not all tribes believe this. Not all shamans say the same thing. The left can be different. Blah blah blah. Okay, but in what I've learned from the medicine men and women that I've learned, left is this and right is this. Okay. But like I said, not all tribes believe the same thing. Similar, but not. But anyway, so she's like, it ended up in her left hand. And I said, so you want to put it in your right hand? And she goes to put it over there. And I'm talking to her and I'm showing her the fluorite and talking about how you, and the next thing I know, just out of curiosity, she had it back in her left hand. She wasn't even thinking about it, and it ended up in her left hand. And I said, so it's back in your left hand. And she looked down and went, oh. I said, does it feel good there? Do you like it there? And I said, I'm not, well, should I have it in my right hand? I said, tomorrow you may wake up and it doesn't want to be in your left hand. It may want to be in your right hand. Follow what it feels right. Don't expect every time this crystal's going to do this for me every time, because not everything is the same every time you wish for it, or every time you use something, or every time you pick up a rock. I mean, there are times when I have to take all rocks, all stones off me and just not have any kind of extra on me other than my copper band here, because you have to let the rocks rest. Too much of you, maybe I've collected too much negative energy, and this stone needs to come off for a while. I'll soak it in some seawater, sea salt. Any salt will work. Sea salt's better. Himalayan salt, okie dokie. And I always add a little bit more to clean water, not any kind of contaminated, chlorinated water. If you have chlorinated water, let it sit outside for a couple of days. The chlorine will evaporate. Then you can add salt and dunk your rocks in. But the salt helps to absorb negative things and will cleanse your rocks. A lot better than just saging them. Just say it. Especially if you wear something on a continuous basis. Give it a rest, give it a chance, soak it in some sea salt and clean water, and allow it to regenerate itself. And I've done that with some of my crystals and put them in my pocket and go, ooh, come for a ride with me, and go, wow, this thing's been sitting in seawater or sea salt for a couple of days. Holy crap, does it feel better, different, whatever. Woo! Can't explain it, but there it is. So, but not every time, and some of the times it's my vibration that picks it up more than. So it's all, you got to understand all of this at the same time is going on. Not every time because no situation is the same. From second to second through this video, it's not the same. When I started this video as to where I am now 2 hours later, energy's different. The people here are different. The subject has changed. It's still topical, but to the point though, it's not the same it was 2 hours ago. So everything is always progressing. Change. It's more of an evolution, if you will. It's the flow of the universe. Everything's always flowing and changing. So if you continue to expect it, this rock, this thing, every time, blah blah blah, you got to get that out of your head right now, because you never know what to expect. With one particular rock, I can expect certain frequencies because I have charged that rock with my own frequency. Versus picking up the fluorite that sits over there in the window. I don't sit with it as often. I look at it, but I don't sit and hold it like other rocks I do. So with that, looking at it, I go, wow. But then I pick it up and look at it and I hold it and I go, oh, totally never thing. But because the way I feel today, this rock is giving me these energies. Tomorrow, different point of view, different circumstance, blah, blah, blah. Pick up the same rock, ain't going to get the same thing. And expect it to be different. But that's the fun part about it. It will always teach you something, especially if you allow it. Just Spitfire says, I feel my rock in my heart. That's the only way I know how to explain it. Stronger, kind of. Exactly. Accounting services. Wow. Your amethyst are amazing beauties. Felt increased tapping energies just seeing them. Yeah. Me and my brother, I bought all four of them, and then I gave two of them to my brother for bookends. And he still has them, I hope. But, I wouldn't let those go out of my sight. And I use them for healing other people, and as much as possible. And the biggest thing is I have these rocks around me. So when I do videos and things and I talk to y'all, I'm accessing the energy of these rocks, literally, And I've showed you this one, but since I'm yakking about it, I'm going to, this, this son of a bitch is 25 pounds. I shouldn't say that, son of a gun. But this is a smoky quartz. And I've showed you all this rock before and how big and massive it is. And this sits at my feet, And different folks, it really is heavy. Honest to God, it's like 25, 30 pounds. It's a heavy rock. But all these facets in it, and I can hold it in one way and this. Anyway, it is just so interesting. But the biggest thing of all that I've learned about the rocks and everything, they each have their own personality. They each have their own usage at particular times in your life, spirit, from day to day. Accept it, go with it. Don't try to fight it or go, holy crap. If a rock don't want you to hold it, put it down. But tomorrow it may call you back and say, come get me. Now I'm ready for whatever the reason. And I know there are folks that go, Hawkeye, that's just plain just bullshit. You can't be telling me that. But the more that I've been to a lot of Native American powwows, and I was at one down here in South Georgia, over near Jacksonville, kind of, sort of, but still in Georgia, Southern Cherokee. And I walked around and saw people, and they were talking openly about how wood spoke to them. I did a video about this walking staff that I picked out of the woods and I found in a dream. And I was using a crystal to help me find this thing. And so, but this one gentleman was talking about, he said, I had this flute and it wouldn't let me play it. It just, every time I've got dozens of flutes, Native American flutes. And he said, but this one wouldn't play for me. And he said, and finally one day I heard it call to me. He goes, yeah, I know. And I said, no, I understand. Go on with the story. He stopped to yeah, I know. People don't believe. And I said, no, I get it. Tell me the rest of your story. And he goes, it called to me one day. And he said, then I've been able to play it ever since. So there are things in the universe we don't quite understand. But just because they don't go our way at a particular moment in time doesn't mean that it won't be good tomorrow or the next day. So sometimes you just have to go, well, maybe not today. But tomorrow might be like just gangbusters. So anyway, with that, my friends, it's been over 2 hours. And this was supposed to be like less than an hour kind of thing. But y'all jumped on here, and I absolutely love hanging out with you guys and discussing things. So just Spitfire says it's 3 a.m. I must be lonely. No, you're with friends and family. At least that's how I feel. So my friend said after 2 hours and 2 minutes and 59 seconds, 2:03 hours, blessings to you. And Max, I hope we get to do a show again soon. And I will try my best to check out some of your videos. But I get yanked in so many different ways for some of these things. I don't mean to not support you all, because you all are like, I have subbed to your channels. But sometimes the information coming in for me, I honestly don't have time to go in these other directions and watch your videos. It's not because I don't love you and that I don't believe in you. I just literally haven't had time to catch everybody's wonderful videos. So understand that I love you all, and keep doing your good work, okay? Because we all are a part of the big plan. You got to remember that. We are all a part of this. And when we don't do our part, well, things fall apart. So, my friends, thank you. Sweet Pea, you're welcome. Just Spitfire, I'm glad to catch you. It's from a song. Yeah, I got it. I saw the little note thing over there, but my other 2 cents was, yeah, you're never alone. My friends, thank you. Thank you. Keep up the good work. And as we continue to share our information with each other, we will continue to learn and expand the universe, our knowledge and everything, our awareness of things. And we just have to keep a positive attitude regardless of the crap. So I will close with my normal prayer. And I do mean this from the bottom of my heart and sincere. I wonder what messages come in for me. Uh, says Just Spitfire. I don't know. We'll chat about it. But anyway, I'm getting my information saying that I need to do a video about doing simple ceremonies, water ceremony kind of thing. That they're really not hard, and it's actually they're quite simple. But in following just certain steps, it just means that you have a better chance of achieving a goal. You may modify or whatever how you do a ceremony with water. But if you go to water at any time with good intention, if you've got a crystal, if you can stand in the water at least, the bottoms of your feet, and just say a prayer to the universe and send it through the water. Now that's what I have learned to do is send my intentions to the universe, but by standing in the water, I also send it through the water into the universe because there's water up there, there's water. Anyway, so but any time you are near water, you can give it energy just by holding putting a crystal in the water. Just go over and give good intentions and prayer. But you got to stand in it to do that. Otherwise, you're just talking to the universe. But when your feet are in the water or you're sitting it, maybe it's only a hand, and you got one, maybe it's a finger in the water. Touch the water and give your intentions of love and light and prayer and healing. So, wow. Somebody else was hanging out in the background saying goodbye. Um, Rise above, Oakland. Good night. Thank you for being around. Thank you for being Dave for being here. You're welcome, and thank you all for hanging out. I wouldn't stand in the water I went to. It had a kitty floating in it. Well, then maybe you got to just put a finger and touch it along the edge. But to the point, a finger you could do. I understand what you're talking about. But I'm down on the river and the water is so nasty green. I don't even want to go near it. But I know in my heart I have to find a place to at least put my toes in. Stand on the edge of the water and at least have my little toes touching, so that my prayer will be heard through the water, not just the sky. But anyway, so my friends, I love you all. I do. Thank you. Continue with your journey. Remember that honor and loyalty to yourself, especially with good intent, is very important for your spiritual growth and your spiritual well-being. So I continue to pray that you, your friends, your relatives, and all of your relations will continue to accept and receive the healing and the blessings from the universe. I continue to pray, law of three, I continue to pray that each and every one of you will continue to accept and receive the blessings, the healing, the knowledge, and the wisdom from the universe. And last but not least, I continue to pray that each and every one of you, your friends, your family, and all of your relations will accept and receive the gifts, the healing, the knowledge, and the wisdom from the universe, and that you will continue to spread it. So my friends, until next time, have a wonderful Saturday. It's already 3:15 almost. So my blessings to you. Keep the faith, my friends, and we'll see you next time around. And Just Spitfire, I'll do a video about rocks and healing and the water thingy, and we'll see where it goes from there. But if you have any questions, some of you already know how to get in touch with me. Questions are, I might not answer you right away. That's probably because I'm out in space somewhere, but that's another story. Or maybe I'm down on the river trying to cut my finger off. That's possible too. So my friends, I love you all and have a great weekend. And until next time, cheers. Keep the faith. I I love you all, and continue doing what you do. Till next time, TTFN, my friends.